Today we're going to be talking about the basics of Photoshop. So as you can see here, I've already opened up the Photoshop application. And the first thing we are greeted with, if you've opened up Photoshop before and used it, you're going to have your recent files down at the bottom. And then the what's new in Photoshop up here. And we can hide suggestions if we want to see more of the various images that I've done in the past. Show suggestions again. We also have over here on the left a couple of different options. We have create new and open. These are going to be the two that we're going to talk about today. So let's just say we wanted to create a completely blank document. We can go to create new and click. And up here at the top, you'll see it says photo, print, art and illustration, web, mobile, film, and video. What each of these, if you click on each of these, you'll see is some various sizes and pixel aspects of, pixel aspects of the various common ways to show these medias. So for instance, in mobile, this is the 1125 by 2436 pixels at 72 ppi or pixels per inch is the size of an iPhone screen for an iPhone X. And Photoshop is really handy. It gives you hundreds of these. There are then an infinite number more that you can get online from both Adobe and elsewhere. For today, let's go ahead and just pretend that we are going to be doing a print document. So I'm going to choose letter 8.5 by 11. You can see over here, shows the width is 8.5, the height is 11, and the resolution is 300 ppi. Now this is about what a good photo would be. Screen depth, or what you would use for, say, web, you'll see it changes over here to 72. And that is because a monitor will never be able to show you as good of an image as an actual picture. You can also orient it if you want to have, whoops, we're in photos now. Let's go back to letter. If you want to have, say, landscape instead of portrait orientation. You can also look at it in everything from pixels, it's 3300 by 2550 pixels, to millimeters if you want to do that, or even points and picas. For today, I'm going to go ahead and leave it on inches. The color mode that I'm going to use, and there's a lot that you can say about this, more than what we're going to go through today, but generally speaking, if you're going to be doing something for digital or for a screen, you're going to want to use RGB color. If you're doing something for print, you're going to use CMYK color. For today, let's just go ahead and play with CMYK color. I was a printer at one point, and so I really like using the 4 colors. So once we've chosen our size and our resolution, we'll go ahead and hit create. And it brings up a blank document. In this blank document, you can do all sorts of things. If I wanted, for instance, I could click on this brush tool here. I could go over to colors up here in the top right and choose, there's this little color picker. And I'm going to choose, say, this color here. And I can draw if I wanted. I can even grab the paint bucket and fill in little chunks. I can double click on this color here. And this opens up an even more detailed ability of Photoshop. I can change everything from the red, green, and blue, or the CMYK, which is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black percentages. It even gives us web colors. So let's go with FFFOO. This really, really awful color of green that I really like using for everything. I'll hit OK. Whoops. And I'm going to hit edit and undo. Whoops, did it again. And there we go. So in basic Photoshop, you're going to have the ability to do that. You're going to have the ability to, if we wanted to, for instance, click on this T down here, and add some type. And I can say, whoops, we are using the same color, so let's change the color again to Hello Photoshop. All right, and then when we have the text we want, we'll go ahead and click this. This is very basic. Over here on the right, we'll get into this quite a bit more in future lessons. You can see the background, which is this image, and then the text, which is on its own layer. If we click this little eyeball, that disappears. If we click this little eyeball, the background disappears, and we get the checkerboard, which is the standard background that is no background in Photoshop. So click that back on. One of the most important tools to know about in Photoshop is going to be the Move tool. That's why it's the top right here. So if we click on the Move tool and we mouse over the Hello Photoshop and click on it, you can see it will let us move it around. So let's say I want to put that right there. Other ones to know about are going to be, and again, we'll get into these later, the Marquee tool. This allows us to select areas. So let's say I want to select this area. I can go up here and then I can say copy it. And then let's go back up here and paste again. And with the Move tool, you can see that it's copied, and again, we'll get into this later on, but it only copies and pastes the layer that's selected, which in this case was the text. So that's the basics of free drawing and writing in Photoshop. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm going to say no. Let's just say, though, that we have an image in mind. In this case, let's just say that the image is this image of rural Pennsylvania by Catherine Milhouse. So down here, you can see we have JPEG 59 kilobytes, GIF at 14.4, we have a JPEG at 40.4, JPEG at 160, and TIFF at 34.6 megabytes. So what these are is if you were to click and select on one of these and hit go, it'll open up in a new window because it's a JPEG, which the browser loves to open. It opens up quite large when compared to this very small one at 5.9. You can see this is about the size of a postage stamp. So I've already downloaded all these images, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up to File and Open, just here. Or, for the shortcut, click this open button here. And let's go to Basics, which is this class. And you can see that I have the 150 pixel, the small one, the medium, the large, and then the TIFF to show you. So let's just start by opening up this one, 150 pixels. A very important thing to know about Photoshop is that while it is very powerful, it is not magic. And this is a problem that I've run across quite a bit in both my professional life and teaching life, is people sending or trying to use images, let's just go ahead and hit fit screen here, zoom all the way in, that are, when shown at 100%, it looks fine. But when it is fit to the screen here, so this button up here, this is all the information that's in it. So the pixels are all just big. If we try to, I'm going to go ahead and hit the 100% button again. I'm going to go now up to Image, and I'm going to show you, let's see, image size. The image size is one of the most important windows that you have in Photoshop. It shows you not only the file size of the image, but then it also shows you the actual size of, and allows you to resize the image. So if we go to pixels, we can see it's 108 by 150 pixels, and there's 72 pixels per inch. Quite literally, this would be in every, if we go back to inches, so if this is 1.5 inches, that is, oh, I can do this math. What's 72 plus 36? 108. 108 pixels across. I think I did that right. So let's just say I want to make this 11 inches across. When I hit OK, I go ahead and do that, and you can see it adjusts the height because it's locked here to 15 inches across. If I hit OK, all that Photoshop does is it doubles and triples and quadruples the size of the pixels and tries to fill in as best it can. And we end up with a fairly blurry image. So for comparison, let's go ahead and open up the medium image, and I'm going to press and hold Control while I'm doing this, or Command on a Mac. And let's just go ahead and open up these other three. And Photoshop is very powerful in that it lets you open up multiple things at once. So I hit open, and up here at the top, you can see it snaps all of them in here. So let's go ahead and go back over to this 640 pixel one. If I go up to image again and hit image size, let's make that 11 again. Let's be our magic number today. You can see the difference. It's still a little blurry, but it is quite a bit more readable. You can start to read the artist's signature and even maybe this stuff down here in the bottom if we were to zoom in on it. Nope, still blur. So let's fit the screen again. Let's go back over to the 1024 pixels. So this is even larger. This is also a larger file size. As you can see up here, it's 2.17 megabytes instead of the 5.6 kilobytes or 1,000 bytes of the first one. And it's already almost 10 inches across. So we'll adjust that up to 11. And as you can see here, it barely even moved. So we'll hit Fit Screen. And we'll go ahead and zoom in. And now we can start to see that it says something, Pennsylvania Art Project, it looks like, for the WPA. Hit Fit Screen. So JPEGs are made mainly for use in the internet and for the ability to send images quickly. So they don't have their what's called lossy. They lose a lot of information for the sake of being fast to send over the internet. A TIFF image, however, which I'll click on here, is a lossless format. So it is quite large. This image, we go up here to image size again, you can see is 34.6 as opposed to even 2 at 2 inches, and the resolution is 1100 pixels per inch. So if we change this, when we can, change this down, never want to change the resolution up, but if we change it down to that, we can then even change the width to, let's say, 22. And hit OK. And here we can see, if we zoom in, it is perfect all the way down to, let's go down here to 200%. Another handy thing to note is that the zoom is down here. It shows the size of the document, how far you're zoomed in, right down here in the bottom left corner at all times. So let's go back to Fit Screen. And let's see. So you can see from here to here the difference in the images. Other things you can do in Photoshop, I suggest playing around with any and all of these buttons over here. These are the toolbar buttons. There are also, if you go up to Window, there are even more things you can do. And there are filters even. So let's say we wanted to make this into a halftone we could do that. If we wait and zoom in, it has that old halftone dot like you would see in a newspaper. So Photoshop has a lot of amazing things that you can do, and in this series of videos, we will explore probably not even most of them. There are every day hundreds more and hundreds more to be added. People make custom scripts for Photoshop, and there are all sorts of things that can be done that we are going to find out about. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, let me know.